It's obvious So it's been a couple of months since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, which means there's been enough time for a few theories to be made, which means I get to pick and choose my favorite theories and debunk them.
Exciting!
So this video is going to be about me debunking my favorite Scarlet and Violet theories, all of which look towards the DLC, so spoilers beware. So for those of you who don't know, Heath is a famous explorer within the Paldea region, who explored the Great Crater and documented everything within the Scarlet and Violet books respectively, especially with the discovery of Paradox Pokemon, which are Pokemon from the ancient past or the far future who arrive in the present day. Or at least that's what he says. See, when Heath returned from the crater, he was called a liar, a fraud. Even when Professor Sada and Professor Turo went down to the crater because of Heath's journals, there were no Paradox Pokemon to be found, only to have them reappear after, are you ready for this? Building a time machine and have it be guarded by their robot double gainer.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Yes, Mario, they did, but there's usually a natural progression through these games so you can see it coming. But I'm getting off topic, as this is where the name Paradox Pokemon comes from. Was it Professor Sada or Toro who discovered them, or was it Heath? And this is where the theory comes in, as it dictates there is no Paradox.
What?
You see, the kicker here is that Heath lied. There were no Paradox Pokemon to begin with. And the so-called time machine is actually a machine that turns imagination into reality. I know, that sounds crazy, but hear me out for a sec. On the page titled Phantom Memory, Heath depicts a dream he had talking to an unknown person. And when he awakes, he notices he has a piece of paper with some unknown scribbles on it. Now, we know this part of the journal is real because Professor Sa and Turtle used what's on these scribbles to create the time machine. And this is the whole point of the theory. Heath, the so-called genius, did not know what these scribbles were, but the professors, the true geniuses, understood their real secrets. Now I know what you're gonna say. Oh, Connor, what puppycock. Truly, the people of Paldea would never allow some rando to go down to the Great Crater. And yeah, you would be right, and this is where I was gonna start the debunking, but as it turns out, there's still a bit more evidence. See, one of the many themes of Scarlet and Violet is treasure and what it means to different people. And if you went to history class in game, they'll tell you about an evil Emperor Paldea who stole treasures from neighboring regions. And since Paldea is based heavily on Spain, it's obvious this is in reference back when Spain was partnered up with the Conquistadors. So yeah, in case you need a reminder of who the Conquistadors are, they were essentially paid soldiers, predominantly Spanish, who were told to go to the Americas and get whatever form of gold they can for their countries. And spoiler alert, they weren't exactly the nicest people. And for one of the best examples how overglorified they were, we have Christopher Columbus, who while Italian did have his voyage funded by Spanish monarchs. Heck, even the king at the time thought Columbus was crazy. He only gave him the 3 ships just so he can leave him alone. And I don't think I need to remind you about what we recently remembered about old Columbus.
This man is overgasped!
So with all of this evidence, how can I possibly debunk this theory? Well, simple. Heath is likely going to be part of the DLC, and he lived almost 200 years ago. See, I don't usually cover leaked info because by nature, their accuracy can be a little iffy, but one of the more reliable leakers, though his maturity is a little iffy, that being Riddler-Ku, who hinted at Heath's return in an online poll, along with some other characters. So if we were to play devil's advocate and say that while Heath was exploring the Great Crater, he no-clipped through time a la Backrooms, just so he can meet us, the player character, and see the Paradox Pokemon, completing the Paradox part of their name. And now on to Theory 2. Here's a more recent theory swimming around the internet. An anonymous 4chan post online claims to have revealed everything that will be in the DLC titled Magenta Mirage.
Oh yeah, now that's a good name.
My thoughts exactly, but then you take a look at the list of content. For starters, it states that there is a second Great Crater Paldea, but why would there be a second Great Crater Paldea, especially since everyone's so focused on the Great Crater Paldea? Secondly, it states that within this new crater there exist 2 tribes, one past-oriented and one future-oriented, both of which live in fear of the third legendary. But it also states the third legendary feeds on the belief of others in it to survive, but it also makes them insane? I mean, yeah, I guess that's why everyone fears the third legendary, but at this point, shouldn't everyone down there be insane? This last one has to be the most confusing. The Paradox Pokemon did come from the future and past, but one that was changed by Heath because apparently he always wanted to see Pokemon from a different timeline?
Look, if you're not gonna take this seriously, I'm out.
So yeah, outside of the spelling error where it says one of which instead of both of which, I doubt this leak is legit. But that may also be because I'm on team Let's Go Back to Kalos thing. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. Look at the top right portion of the map. Now look at a map of Spain and France together.
They're the same picture.
Correct! It's also worth noting that Battle Bond, as in Battle Bond Greninja, has been rumored to be coded into the game. And now on to our final theory of the video. Am I reading that right? Okay, in order for this to make remotely any sense, I need to give everyone context on what it means. So, we all know about Atlantis, right? Sunken city, advanced civilization, underrated masterpiece? Well, as it turns out, all of our knowledge on Atlantis came from one guy, Plato. See, Plato was the first person ever to describe Atlantis, how it was destroyed in one day, how it was so advanced that people were considered half man and half god, and how it glowed with the red of orichalcum. Huh, orichalcum, where have I heard that name before? But most convincingly is Plato's connection to heat, as like most philosophers, Plato was a huge liar. But to be honest, this is still all very unlikely. For instance, Atlantis was said to be on an island surrounded by water, and I mean look at the crater, it's completely landlocked. Then again, I do hear some people say the crater was filled with water, hence the Atlantis connection, but I mean, where did the water go? What drained it?
That does not make sense.
And on top of that, all the evidence I just went over are very loosey-goosey, so I'm just gonna call that 3 theories and call it a day. Thank you for watching, be sure to subscribe below and let me know what you think of these theories in the comment section below. Theories debunked.